Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for another one-man review. Today I've got one of the books that Vitas sent me. Thank you so much again, Vitas, for the big care package, all these free books. Vitas is one of our patrons. He's supported us on all of our Kickstarters. He obviously supports a bunch of Kickstarters because a lot of the books that he sent me were things he supported and then read and then decided he didn't want to keep, so he sent them on to me. This was one of those, Dagger Dagger. It's one of the Gofa edited collections. It was something I was looking at because I do like some of the artists in here, but I wasn't sure of all the artists, so I didn't pull the trigger on that because there were other books that I knew up for sure I wanted. And yeah, so I was really excited to get this because it was something I was kind of flirting with. So I don't want to look at the whole book, but I want to shout out the stuff in here that really had me excited and some artists to go check out, some artists that I'm excited about that are in here. It starts out with this 2-page little framing sequence, supposedly by the evil wizard, called the evil wizard, and you have the evil wizard finds Dagger Dagger and is reading it. Comics, huh? No, I couldn't possibly be into, and then they start reading it supposedly, and that wraps up in a fun way at the end. Right out the gate, Matt Lesniewski, someone whose work I've seen on Instagram, been following on Instagram, an artist that I think is really unique style. Really excited about his art. Some of the stuff I've seen is in color. I don't like that so much because the black and white is just so pretty. What he does with texture is so nice. And so I'm really excited to see that stuff printed in black and white. It's printed really, really well. No complaints about the production quality here. This story really, it sings off of the page to me. Really beautiful art. So I don't know what else Matt Lesniewski's got cooking, but whatever it is, I look forward to it. I know there's one book called Static that's already out that I need to get a hold of, and Crimson Flowers, another one. But I'd like to see some black and white work. Those color ones just seem to take something away. This one here, I wasn't so into the art. This is Colony Blues by Maxime Gerin. The art's okay. It kind of reminds me of Matt Wagner when he works in black and white, really thick and chunky and graphic with big dot tones all over the place. What I liked about this one, though, is even though it's set in a fantasy world, it kind of feels just like a satire on bureaucracy. And there was a lot of interesting character interactions in this story that felt like part of some larger world. I didn't feel left out because I didn't know the larger world, but it made me hungry for more. So there was a world building there that was in the background that wasn't, but you didn't need it to access this little bit of story, but it was done in such a way that I really want to know the rest. I want to spend more time with these characters and really get a thorough sense of this. So it says 20 out of, maybe they're just saying it was done in the year 2020. Yeah, that makes more sense. I don't know. I want this to be part of something bigger. So hopefully Colony Blues, I'll have to research that and see if there's more of that. Really quite enjoyed the story. Another artist that stuff really jumped out at me, Goran Gilgovich, The Monastery. It's obviously done digitally because it's got these digital brush textures, but I really like how Goran is using those brush textures to create these monolithic shapes, and everything feels so solid and chunky. It kind of has a Sergio Topi vibe to it, but not quite. I don't know. It just feels like something unique that's developing that I haven't seen before, and there's a lot of room. Images like this, feels like there's a lot of room for this to grow into something interesting. This feels very Sergio Topi to me, the way the armor's drawn, but taken in a different direction. Kind of an Eduardo Hisso face there. So there's an interesting combination of influences, I think, coming together in this story. Totally wordless. Doesn't matter. Just looks super cool. So I like that one. I'll be looking this artist up and trying to find out what else they've done. This one confused me a bit. Angelic Missile by Linnea Sterte. Sterte, Sterte. Another artist I want to look up, but I'm confused because the rest of the book is printed so well, and this one just has like I don't even have to put my eyes in it. Like I can see the lines are just made out of dots. So it almost looks, and I don't know if this is intentional or not. This is what I'm gonna have to look up and see. Is it? It almost looks like this was drawn in MS Paint or something. It has that like dot 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 look to it, and I don't know if that's intentional or if they just provided really bad files to the publication or something. But the images, like if you get past the odd representation of the line work, the images in the line work themselves are beautiful. It's this kind of seen a lot of this like mix between Moebius and Otomo right now, and this is like really nails that look. I just wish it was printed better, but it's so exaggerated that I almost wonder if it's intentional, if that's an intentional aesthetic. I'm not sure. It's curious, but it kind of ruins some of the lyricism for me. So I'm interested in that. Now, this is the artist that really had me wanting to buy this book, is Artoym Trakhanov. This is somebody whose work I've been obsessing over on Instagram. This just amazing stylistic mashup of Mike Mignola and Sergio Topi, from what I can see, have to be the two main influences here. Like, these are very Mignola-like figures. This is super Sergio Topi, kind of hectic, all over the place line work, with like the way that the shapes cut through the panels, the sense of shape and design in negative space that both of those artists have, but especially used in a way that feels like Sergio Topi to me. But then like this is totally something Mike Mignola or all the people, Duncan Fegretto and the people who kind of work in that same style, but then, you know, way more intensely detailed with all of the crazy Topi like loose rendering over top of it. I just think it's an absolute, this is so Sergio Topi right here. The hands are like a really perfect halfway point between those two artists. I just think it's a phenomenal style. That hand is so good. The print quality on this one's a little, it looks like it's half toned. I don't know why. So a little bit fuzzy on the edges, but I mean, come on. So I don't know what else this artist has going on in the future. I've seen there's some stuff that's printed in Russian that I'm going to try and get a hold of maybe. But absolutely love his stuff and love the ability to switch into this different style. Probably one of the artists I'm most excited about right now, honestly. And then this is an artist I have never heard of until this, but absolutely now in love with, Zay Bernay. It looks kind of like a really, really refined version of the artwork from Puma Blues. Michael I'm gonna fuck it up. Zuli, right? Not Kaluta. Michael Zuli stuff in Puma Blues. That like really, really densely detailed rendering, but more controlled, like not so hectic. And so just some phenomenally thin lines. It does suffer from the print quality of the book. The lines break up into, it looks like halftones, so it's like these tiniest lines are like dot, 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 instead of a line. Looking the artist up on Instagram, they're using a Winsor Newton Series 7 000, which is like an incredibly small brush. Like I'm using a number 2 and can get some pretty fine lines. But man, images like this, oh, so good. And probably the best pen and ink animals I've ever seen. So I did see that this is from a larger collection. I don't know if I can still get the collection. I'm going to look into it. I think the Andromeda was kickstarted and collected. But I think this is somebody, you know, who I hope keeps making a lot of comics, and I'll be keeping an eye out and grabbing anything they do, and hopefully it's being done in a way where it's not printed like digitally like this, where you can see the dots, because these type of lines, you know, if this person doesn't know all the stuff that Sean knows, that they need to learn it, or work with a publisher who will get it done, because these lines deserve the fidelity that they were created at. Like up in here, it breaks up. So, I mean, it still looks great in print, but with my eagle eyes, you know, like I'm a little sad. Man, just so cool though. The amount of grays that they get just out of line work is really cool. This is artwork by Marie Enger. It looks more like on the cartoony Mignola side of that Artoym Trakhanov style, like really exaggerated and almost impossible to look at. Like, it's really hard to decipher some of these, but the rhythm of all the shapes and the blacks and the lines, and I really just like looking at it, even though a lot of it I don't even know what I'm looking at. It was kind of hard to read, but I looked her work up on Instagram, and when it's in color, the images are really decipherable and the style is really amazing. And like, even not knowing what's going on, I just love the placement of shapes and the abstract like deconstruction of the page into shapes. So I find this really exciting. But yeah, I'd really like to read something in color by Maria Enger, and see if my eyes have an easier time interpreting it. But yeah, even just as an experiment in abstraction, I find this totally wild and really exciting. Like, totally crazy stuff. And then Simon Roy, someone I'm familiar with because of the work they've done with Brandon Graham on Profit, and had a story in Brandon's Island magazine that was coming out. So an artist I really like. This looks like it's maybe printed at size that the art was drawn, because I'm used to Simon Roy's stuff being more densely detailed, but really amazing, fantastical imagination. So always like Simon Roy's art. So again, someone else that I kind of prefer colored to black and white, or at least with a different tone over them. And then the book ends with coming back to the evil wizard now having finished the book and is all excited, and goes and looks up all the artists on the internet. So here you have all their Instagram and stuff, which is great because there's a lot of these people that I already have tracked down or will be tracking down. So I like that. And then gets all excited and is like, okay, these self-absorbed artists, like, I'm gonna be better than them. And I like that they end the book on like this gauntlet thrown down, like, you just saw a bunch of cool ass shit, like, now go make something even better. And ends it. So it feels like a book that's really passionate about making comics, and then has new books. So I'm gonna have to look this up. Simon Roy and Artoym Trakhanov's First Knife, Matt Lesniewski's Static. So I definitely have to get those. Andromeda by Zay Bernay. The Linnea Sterte. There's a lot of these where it's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm glad they have books. I gotta figure out how to get money to go get those, and then some other ones that are being kickstarted. So yeah, really cool project. I'm super grateful that Vitas sent this over. I wouldn't have got it otherwise, I don't think, but really excited, and left me excited about all these other things now that I want to go get, and these artists that I'm gonna kind of obsess over. So yeah, thank you so much, Vitas, and thanks for following along, guys. If you can get a copy, I don't know, definitely get one. I don't know if it ended with the Kickstarter or if they're still available, but I would definitely recommend this. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.